Yeah, it's Monday. Welcome back, everybody, to the Andrew Gosser Show on 1039 WYAB, Mississippi's very own 50,000-watt blowtorch, moving and grooving, blowing and going. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a little bit of a weekend, hasn't it? And guess what? We're streaming on Rumble. We're streaming on X. We're streaming on YouTube. And we are streaming at the mothership that is WYAB.com. So if you can't pick up the signal, please pick up one of our streams. And if you do, like the stream, share the stream, tell some people about the stream. Let's build the audience, ladies and gentlemen. I am on X. You can find me on X at Andrew Gosser, AndrewGasser. The slow grind continues, trying to hit that 8,000 followers on X. We'll see if we get there. Moving slowly, but we're making it happen. And look, if you want to be part of the show today, I want to invite you because this is a conversation. Obviously, I have my military views, but I want to get your takes on this too. The number is 601-879-0002. The text line is open, 601-879-5060. And the mission hasn't changed here at the Andrew Gosser Show. We're here to equip the saints. Who are the saints? Y'all are the saints. Look, I planted it, Apollos watered it, but it was God that gave the increase. And, the left is just completely unhinged itself over what the United States and Israel did on Shabbat in the middle of Ramadan. They've completely lost the narrative. They didn't think it was going to happen, but it did. Phone lines are already starting to bust up here. Let's see what's going on. Go ahead. You're on the air.
So, did you get a chance to listen to Trump address the nation, or excuse me, not the United Nations, the nation of Iran over the weekend?
The one where he said it's time that we're with them, it's time for them to stand up, and he told the IRGC to lay down their weapons?
Well, yeah, that one, but the part of it where I'm talking about is where he goes, the people of Iran have wanted for years and years for the United States to help them out. And finally, you have a president that's going to fight for you. He was addressing them as their president. Meanwhile, me sitting here as a United States citizen, I'm still trying to get things addressed here at home. I don't give two craps about what's going on over there. Now they've sunk a ship, a tanker in the Straits of Hormuz. That's going to mess up, oil and all that kind of junk. But he addressed them as their president. He is not their president. I voted for him 3 times. He is not their president. He's my president, and I want things done here.
Well, let's talk this through. Are you talking about the tanker that was under sanction and was hit by Iranian Shahab 130? That hasn't stopped. That hasn't stopped the Straits of Hormuz. Now, Iran did try to shut it down, but I follow a guy who actively works in that, and the Straits of Hormuz have not been shut down, so it hasn't been sunk. It actually, the pilot. Words mean things, brother.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Words mean things.
Yep.
And he addressed the people of Iran. He said, finally, you have a president. That's exactly what I mean. Words mean things. He addressed the people of Iran as their president. He was doing things for them as if they were his voter bloc. That's exactly what I mean. Words mean things.
I took it a little bit differently. I took it as, there's Obama said he cared about Iran. Biden said he cared about Iran. George Bush said he cared about Iran, but they never did jack for Iran. The only thing that the United States has really done for Iran since the Islamic regime took over was Obama sent them a bunch of money, a bunch of cash on 2 different jets, and funded their nuclear program. Could have President Trump said, finally, you have a U.S. president who means what he says when he says he's going to support the people of Iran? He probably could have said it a little differently, but I didn't take it like that. I'm just being truthful with you.
Well, I did. But here's I guess why I took it that way.
Okay.
There's still a child sex trafficking ring. There's still out there. Nobody's got arrested. Nothing has happened. Nothing. Nobody has nothing. So right now, there's kids being hurt.
Rick,
and he's worried about Iran.
Rick,
they can't reach us. They can't touch us with their missiles.
Well, they can't touch you with their missiles, but they do have their suicide brigades that are here, just like that happened in Austin. That was a
Oh,
dry run.
the CBS guy that came on before you said it's being investigated as a terrorist thing. It's being investigated. They're not sure, even though he wore the shirt that said, I'm property of Allah. They're not sure yet
Yep.
because he wasn't the right color.
I'm not arguing that, and I hear the sarcasm in your voice, and my sarcasm is right there with you too. We know that the DOJ is about as worthless as boobs on a bull.
Mm-hmm.
There's absolutely nothing going on there, and I agree with you. But I want to go back to the other point you made because there are people who disagree with you and disagree with me. Where this was actually supposed to lead the top of the 11 o'clock hour, but you know who the happiest people in the world right now are?
I mean,
The Clintons.
well, they're getting all free. I mean, they were sitting there doing their investigations or their testimonies, whatever, and now it's everything they've said
The
is getting swept under the rug and it's not being scrutinized one bit. I know that.
eh,
I
eh,
know that the Federal Reserve is pretty happy because Iran was one of the only countries in the region that didn't have a centralized bank. So there's a lot of happy people right now.
well, for me, people don't like me talking about this, but this is just me coming from my biblical worldview. Everybody likes to have one, but when we actually go to practice it, it gets people angry. Is we can go do the things we're doing in Iran, and I do think that the funding of Hezbollah, Islamic Jihad, and the other one I always forget, Hamas. That does impact us here directly in the United States. I know a lot of people
Of
don't
course
see
it
it,
does.
but that's why we go do the things we do over there to try to keep that nonsense going on over there instead of over here. But what I'm trying to tell all of my Republican friends who are actually inside the party, high up the party, I'm just a low level executive committee member in Hinds County. I'm nothing to write home to mom about. But
Oh, and I'm lower than you, so I understand.
well, we need people like you in there and bubbling up. But my point is this: is they don't think that the Epstein files are a big deal,
They're
and
not going away.
well, they're not, and the thing about it is, if you take the biblical worldview, if you're in the pew on Sunday morning or Sunday evening or Wednesday night, you go to a small group, and this isn't an issue for you, well, then you're not being biblically grounded, because it's better to hang a millstone around your neck and drown yourself in the sea than to hurt one of these little ones, and it's just my opinion. I it's just my opinion that if we can't protect our own kids, let alone all the ones that were trafficked here, and can't go out and take care of them and protect them and hold those who did despicable acts and deeds to them accountable, well, then what kind of
Well,
society do we have in the first place?
but here's the thing: if you choose not to get pissed off about what's going on in the world today,
Mhm.
you've still made a choice.
Yep. Absolutely, and there's a lot of people look, the it's not even doom scroll anymore. My daughter came home and they call it brain rot. I mean, the Zoomers are
Yeah,
actually calling it brain rot, and they're trying to figure out they're trying to unplug, they're trying to disconnect from their cell phones, and it's addiction like cocaine or crack, and
it's
adults
not
don't.
worse. To be honest, it's not worse because there are very intelligent people who have spent millions and millions of dollars to figure out the flicker rate, the pattern recognition, and all that. I mean, this is like cocaine is a drug that grew on a plant. It got synthesized and then whatever. The phones, the algorithms were purposely designed to keep you in a state of just where you're not doing anything, where you just scroll for the next, and it messes with your dopamine levels, and it
Oh,
messes with
absolutely.
everything.
The anxiety levels, there's a reason I call it your anxiety device. But, I did hear about your presidential speech. I'll give you the last word, my friend, because I know we don't always agree on everything, but, we're 2 grown men who, can sit there and have a conversation without yelling and screaming and hooting and hollering, you know?
I don't mind disagreeing with somebody. What I mind is when somebody just doesn't care.
Yep.
So me and you sitting there having an argument or agreement or disagreement, I don't care. Just stand 10 toes on what you think your principles are and just stand up. just stand up. And if you win the argument, so be it. If you don't, so be it. But stand up.
Yep. I agree with that. And whether you agree with President Trump going into Iran along with Israel or not,
And by the way, I don't think it's constitutional. Just I don't think he has the power to do it. By the way.
yeah, well, we were talking about that. I don't know if you listened to Clay and I, but the NDAA, we can disagree and have that constitutional scholarly debate, but the NDAA actually allows it, and it's because they slow dripped it. They started it back in the 1980s. It goes that far back, and then in the 90s they made another correction, and then when 9/11 came, they just completely enforced it, and people just do not well, they might even realize it now, but they just don't care because everybody uses their phone, everybody gets tracked, everybody has their text messages read. We don't care, you know? It's one of
Yeah,
those.
everybody says, "Well, I'm not doing anything wrong. What do I have to hide?" That's
Yep,
not the point.
yep. Uh, but that's what's going on there. I kind of look at it from, as a military man deployed over to Afghanistan, deployed over to Iraq, in the Persian Gulf in Iraq. You know, I look at this as Iran's been the needle in the side, and if you wanna take a biblical perspective on this, go read the Book of Esther. You will see that the Persian Gulf and the Persians, the Iranians themselves, they've been embroiled in this mess for long before the United States ever became a twinkle in England's eye, you know? So, there's a lot of things moving on here, happening at the same time, and it's just diverting our focus away. We are what we consume, Rick. Do we consume local news? Do we consume local politics? Do we consume Arsenal Football Club or model trains? I mean, I'm pointing the finger at myself. I don't consume a nearly much real food. I eat a lot of these Doritos and junk food and pizza and hot garbage like that instead of the healthy stuff, you know?
Yeah, can't be perfect.
Nope, nope. But, man, I sure do appreciate it. You got anything else, man? We got about a minute and a half
Yeah,
left.
I just don't understand. I don't know how to. I don't know how to talk to people anymore. I don't. It's either you're awake and me and you can talk for hours, and that goes for anybody. I mean, I've met some 80-year-old people that I talk to, and they're like, "Man, this is crazy," and they're knowledgeable. Or if you try to talk to a normie and they're like, "Hey, something's up," they're like, "Oh well, you trust the plan," and I just don't know. I just don't know how to talk to anybody anymore.
Uh, well, it's funny because that's what the cell phones do, you know? I've watched it. I've watched my daughter have friends over, and they're not talking, they're texting, and I
Right?
literally walked in, and and I'll just say her nickname that I have for her. I'm like, "Toots, what the hell are you doing?"
Yeah.
You've got 3 teenage girls here, they've got popcorn, they've got movie night, they got the whole living room decked out. We they went to Taco Bell, they went to, Domino's Pizza. I mean, they it was just a fun night for a couple teenage girls so they don't have to go out and be subjected to the world, and they were texting, and I'm like,
Yep.
"What the world?" So, but the good thing here, Rick, is that we know how this ultimately ends, number 1. But number 2 is that these kids are starting to realize that they need to unplug, and they wonder what a world is like without being plugged in, and, perhaps we get back to that point, my friend. I really do appreciate your phone call. I'll give you the last word.
And God bless America and long live the Republic.
Yep, amen to that, brother. Thank you so much for the call. We're moving and grooving right here on the Andrew Gosser Show, 103.9. We're gonna take our first break, and then I'm gonna get into my opening monologue. Rick called in right away. He wanted to be first in line. Maybe you wanna be in line. Maybe you agree with Rick, maybe you don't. Well, we'd like to hear it. The number is 601-879-0002. Text line is open, 601-879-5060. And, oh, by the way, if you were in Rankin County and you got one of those scam texts to call that number, will you text that number to me, 601-879-5060? We need to do some real journalism, some real investigative journalism. You are listening to The Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. You know what's up. We'll be right back.
Keep it tuned here to 103.9 WYAB.
Weekdays 10 to noon in Jacksontown. On WYAB, it's the hottest show around.
Andrew Gossip Show. Hey, Jackson.
Turn it up.
Let your message go.
They're tuned in, you know. Put your business in the spotlight on the Andrew Gossip Show.
Advertise with Andrew. Email info@wyab.com.
Hi, this is Lee Atkins of Home Care Plus in Ridgeland. We are a proud carrier of Abena Premium Incontinence products. Abena has the most absorbency available, making changes and leaks less likely. After 7 years as a seller, I can tell you these products are amazing and worth every penny to quality of life for patient and caregiver. And we ship all incontinence products as well. So please come see us at Home Care Plus in Ridgeland for all the incontinence needs of you or your family member. That's Home Care Plus in Ridgeland.
Your roof is constantly exposed to the elements, battling dirt, algae, and stains. But with Watkins Construction and Roofing Roof Wash Service, you can keep it looking like new. A proprietary rooficide treatment is EPA approved, safe, and guaranteed to prevent algae from coming back for at least 2 years. No harsh chemicals, no damage, no black streaks. Just a clean, beautiful roof that lasts. Call Watkins Construction and Roofing at 601-966-8233 or visit nomoreroofstains.com today.
You can show your pride and patriotism in honor of the 250th birthday of this great nation by proudly flying a flag. And a complete flag source on I-55 in Jackson is the place to find it. All sizes for all purposes. And they have the official 250-year celebration flag. Have a look at CompleteFlags.com. That's CompleteFlags.com.
Here's John and Corey Ravenstein.
You know, we're always trying to find ways to give you more at Juniker Jewelry Company.
More diamonds, more selection, more value for your money.
That's why we built the largest fine jewelry store in the state.
And that's why we're launching Juniker's Rewards Program,
where the more you spend, the more you earn.
That's right. With every qualified purchase at Juniker's, you'll automatically receive Juniker's Rewards points over time that you can use for future purchases.
You get rewards points for every purchase on diamonds, engagement rings, and wedding bands, new fashion jewelry, estate and antique jewelry.
Even on all your jewelry repairs.
Think of it as Juniker's frequent flyer program for love.
And rewards points add up fast. Come to Juniker's and sign up today.
Juniker's Rewards. One more way. At Juniker's, we've been giving you more since 1944.
Juniker Jewelry Company. We're at 1485 Highland Colony Parkway, just south of 463 in Madison, and online at junikerjewelry.com, Mississippi's direct diamond importer.
Have you thought about the cost of long-term care? In Mississippi, a home health aide can cost over $57,000 a year, and a private nursing home room can exceed $109,000 annually. Hi, my name is Cressley Pierce at Pierce Professional Agency. Long-term care insurance may help protect your savings and give you more options and peace of mind as you age. Learn how planning ahead could save you money and stress. Find me, Cressley Pierce, online today at MadisonPlans.com. That's MadisonPlans.com.
What are people saying about Tom's Fried Pies in Richland?
I'm on a diet. I don't want to be down there at Tom's Fried Pies. We had a good time. When I tell you the crust was flaky, I'm talking about buttery. This was nothing like I've ever tasted. Ever. I mean, I've never tasted anything like that, man. It was nice. Atmosphere was nice. Everybody there was nice. Because I'll be back, even though I don't supposed to with my diet. I really enjoyed myself.
Tom'sFriedPies.com. Tom'sFriedPies.com.
And we are back here at the Andrew Gossard Show on 103.9 WYAB. Moving and grooving. 601-879-0002 is the phone number if you want to call into the show. 601-879-5060 is the text line. It is open. And, you know, I think I want to start off with this quote right here because this happened on the night of the strikes on Iran. But this is really true, and it gets more involved in this culture war that we just think in America we got this culture war problem. Nope, there are a lot of other places that got this culture war problem too, and this is going to kind of illustrate that perfectly. Muslim countries that support today's U.S. strike on Iran include the country of Kuwait. Yep, they just shot down 3 of our F-15E Strike Eagles. We'll figure it out, but they support us. Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Turkey, United Arab Emirates, and Bahrain. All the Gulf Coast, all the Persian Gulf countries, except for Iraq, support what we're doing. Muslim countries that do not support today's U.S. strike on Iran: Iraq, France, and the United Kingdom. Let that set in, fam. Let that set in. You know, we just had a major terrorist attack. They're not going to call it that unless they can, unless they absolutely have to do that. But this thing that happened in Austin, it's not going to be uncommon. And in CBS News is sitting there trying to minimize this. Did you guys know that CBS News tried to minimize their coverage of the attack and the this pro-Trump support in Austin, Texas? This is coming from Eric Doherty on X. If you're not following him, you should be. And this is going to be part of our Techniques, Tactics, and Procedures TTP Tuesdays. We're going to give you a list of people that I think you need to be following for news, because, like Clay and I agree, mainstream media, they're not even fake news or yellow journalism. They are enemies of the United States of America. CBS News is an enemy. There's no other way to talk about it. Listen to this. What's that mean? What do they mean if they don't want us to focus on this? All right. Well, I am. And then he goes into his report. Thank you, Trump. And now they're trying to direct him off the presentation. Thank you, Bibi. Thank you, Trump. And CBS is sending orders to their field reporters not to cover the pro-Trump, pro-strike celebrations all around the world. And you know, the thing is that if you're in the United States and you're being blinded by K-pop demon hunters and whoever the newest and latest greatest Madonna / Miley Cyrus is, you're not going to know. You're not going to have an idea of what's going on because you're too busy sucked into the social media wormhole. But the truth is out there. You just have to know how to look. And I kind of look at it like flying a fighter jet. You know, you've got your radar and you're out there and you're sweeping the whole sky. You're looking at everything. And then once you find your target, you kind of start looking through a soda straw because you just want to stay focused on that. And I'm telling you all, if you are not focused on what these mainstream conglomerates are trying to do, then you're kidding yourself. You're not following what's happening in not just our world, but your own world. You are purposely disengaging yourself from the civics process, and people like Rick out there are right. People like Rick out there are absolutely right when it comes to the point of being upset with our government for not doing certain things. What's that say about our culture? Is it a culture worth fighting for? I would argue the culture of patriotism, of the Bill of Rights is, but, you know, South Park, not so much. South Park, not so much. And I'm getting all these different stories about South Park and all this other stuff coming in, but my point is that we are being lied to and deceived. And nothing new here is under the sun. This whole thing last night, the Sweet Bee and I, you can listen to audiobooks. Like who here listens to audiobooks? Who listens to podcasts? You are what you consume. And we listened to a book that was about 2,600 years old. And I'll tell you what, the things that were said in that book, the book of Esther, you're sitting there looking at it as like, did this just happen yesterday or did this happen 2,600 years ago? In biblical worldview, I mean, people are waking up. People are sick and tired of being told what to think. You know, there's this woman here, and you might have heard this, you might have not, but if you haven't, the Iranian people are so grateful and thankful for everything that we've done. And you might have the long-haired hippie giraffe suit wearing, thong wearing, blue-haired, nose ring, ear gauged out wokesters upset about this, but listen to what Iranians are saying.
Iranian here, with a message for every single American who voted for President Trump. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. God bless President Trump, God bless the US military, and God bless America. We can't wait until Iran is free and we can welcome you back to our country with open arms and be the allies that we used to be before the Islamic regime took over our country in 1979. That's it. Thank you. Thank you so much, and God bless America.
Yep. Do you hear any liberal Democrats saying that? I don't think you do. Let's try to take another phone call here. Hey, turn down your radio. You're on the air.
Hey, Andrew, I got that text message this morning about the scam, or about the number you wanted. I didn't catch your text message or your text number.
Yep, here it's 601-879-5060.
All right, we'll send it to you.
Man, this is going to be great radio. Brother, I really appreciate you listening. Thanks for calling in.
No problem.
Yep. Yep, we'll move that to the top of the 11 o'clock hour. We're going to see what we can see here. We're going to investigate this a little bit. It might turn out great. It might turn out to be a complete train wreck, but we're going to find out one way or another. But the Iranians are absolutely joyous. So I watch, again, this is going to be part of TTP Tuesdays. There's a YouTube channel that I follow. It's Tousi TV, TOUSI.TV. He's an Iranian who is living in North London. Persian guy, really sweet dude, married a red-haired Catholic Irish girl, converted to Catholicism, and he reports on everything Iran. And when we killed the Ayatollah, they went into the streets and started celebrating, jumping for joy, fireworks. We saw the original Iranian flags, the ones with the lion, not with the Islamic swords crossed and fighting. The original Iranian flags. You saw Israel flags right next to the Iranian flags. Jews and Muslims and Iranians celebrating together, hugging, laughing, joking. Dare I say, drinking and smoking. Because they were, fam. It's on the live stream. I saw it. I watched it. The Sweet Bee and I were in complete and utter amazement. But the part that gets me really kind of choked up was when the one guy brought out the red, white, and blue in the stars and stripes. And people who weren't even Americans started chanting USA, USA, USA. That's when you know you're on the right side. There were cars being paraded down the street with the pictures and flowers of people who were murdered by this tyrannous regime, the mullahs, the Islamic Republic. They were being remembered and honored. You had people celebrating, and I was just there last year, and I tell you what, some of those places they went to, I'm just saying, I didn't necessarily feel comfortable there. I'm just being real with you. Do you feel comfortable everywhere you go? Some people won't even go near Jackson because they're afraid they're going to get shot. But the world is rejoicing. The world is rejoicing. In New York, they were rejoicing. What was that loser Zorhan Mandami saying about this? When we get back from the break, we're going to go ahead and play his comments. You are listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We will be right back.
1039 WYAB.
Fox News commentary with Kennedy next.
Most investments today feel like second jobs. Real estate, you're a landlord. Stocks, you're a day trader. Crypto, you're a full-time researcher. You've got a life to live. Your investment should help you live it. That's why more Americans are choosing gold. Noble Gold has helped thousands protect their future with real physical gold. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com to get your free wealth protection kit. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Here's Kennedy.
Let's celebrate. Let's be optimistic. This is a win for all of us. Instead, it's just we have to find a way to turn this into a political victory against Trump. We have to flip this into something negative. We have to be against something right now. And that's why people were so moved by Jack Hughes' interview right after he scored that goal. Because his immediate reaction was to be humble and thank the guys on his team and talk about how they bonded and the meaning of that and how much they love playing for the United States and being for something. And that's when I realized people are so moved by this because they have been made to feel like they have done something wrong. And we're being scolded by people who are negative.
For more commentary like this, go to foxnewspodcast.com.
If you've had an accident, remember Clinton Body Shop. We work for you, not your insurance company. Don't be misled by someone telling you that you will have to pay more than your deductible. Our shops hold multiple certifications from the makers of today's vehicles. We are the longest running ICAR Gold Class certified repair facility in Mississippi. We know how to repair your vehicle, and we will work with your insurance company on your behalf. In Clinton and in Richland, we work for you. We take pride in perfection.
The Township Jazz Festival is on again this year, so make your plans for Saturday, April 11th to bring the family and make a day of it. This year, as always, they're keeping it free. 8 hours of phenomenal jazz talent at the Township on Highland Colony Parkway near Fusion Coffee House. Covered seating is provided, but lawn chairs and blankets are welcome. No tents, please. You can look for the info at townshipjazzfestival.com.
Seeing well plays a big role in helping you read well. That's why it's not a minute too soon for students of all ages to schedule an eye exam with Dr. Bobby C. Pankey and Associates in Clinton and Richland. They can also help you with a great selection of frames, lenses, and contacts, all at affordable prices. See well, read well, do well. For all your back-to-school eye care needs, visit Optical 2000 Clinton and Richland. Optical-2000.com.
Stay in touch. Follow Optical 2000 on Facebook.
Tools, paint, mowers, equipment parts, service, and rentals are all under one roof at Hometown Hardware in Flora. Hometown Hardware has what you need and professional staff to steer you in the right direction. Hometown Hardware carries top brands like Hustler, Steel, and Milwaukee. Hometown Hardware even has a full lumber yard, paint matching, pool water testing, propane filling, key cutting, and much more. Hometown Hardware, Highway 49 in Flora.
Health has always been reactive, focused on fixing problems as they happen. But with Blue Primary Care, we're taking a proactive approach, working with you to help you understand your health and empowering you to be healthy. It's time to prioritize you, your health, and your life. The results? Less worrying and more living. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi. It's good to be blue.
All right. I just did a little bit of investigation. Well, I got that number from that caller text number. So looks like it's a gold, precious metals type of operation. I'm going to try to call him back in the top 11 o'clock hour. I didn't want to necessarily come on the radio, but we're going to try to make it happen. You are listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. Rick, I got your text. We're going to use that, and we're going to see if we can't come to somewhere in the middle. But the world is rejoicing. Dare I say, a tyrant is dead. And what is the political left doing?
Today's military strikes by the United States and Israel mark a catastrophic escalation in an illegal act of war, of aggression. Bombing cities, killing civilians, opening up a new theater of war. Americans do not want this. Americans do not want another war in pursuit of regime change. We want an answer to the affordability crisis. We want peace. Now, I may be a young mayor, but I am old enough to remember the devastating consequences of our country's pursuit of regime change in this same region not that many years ago. Now, my focus is on keeping New Yorkers safe. I've been in close contact with our police commissioner and emergency management officials. We are increasing agency coordination as well as patrols of sensitive locations out of an abundance of caution. And additionally, I want to speak directly to Iranian New Yorkers. You are a part of the fabric of this city. You are our students, our artists, our small business owners, our neighbors, our community leaders. You will be safe today.
So do you believe with Zorhan? Because guess what? Zoran wasn't out there with those New Yorkers who happened to be Iranian when they were celebrating the death of the Ayatollah and 48 of his closest compatriots. This is everything that's wrong with the liberals and the left. And this is where I make my standard plea to those of us who are in the middle or to the right. This is simply unbelievable. This guy is not America first. This guy is not, he says he's New York first, but he can't even get the trash picked up or the snow plowed. In Chicago, that would end up getting you shot. New York's got a lot of good-tempered people out there. Love New York. But what Zorhan Mandami says is just a template of all the left of the or what all the rest of the leftist rage baiters are doing, and I don't plan to take that. But you take that and you compare that to this girl right here.
Iranian here, with a message for every single American who voted for President Trump. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. God bless President Trump. God bless the U.S. military.
Yep. Zorhan never brings up God. And that's the real crux of the issue here that I think is going to tear America apart, quite frankly. Is some people just want to do it their own way because that's the way they think that they've always done it, realizing that it's not really how the world and spirituality work, but hey, that's all right. But Rick, who called in the beginning, just sent me this text, and I'm gonna read it here. I might have to rearrange a word or two, Brother Rick, but let's take this phone call real quick. Go ahead, you're on the air. Well, for whatever reason, they're not wanting to talk. I got it set up right. Yep. Try it again, maybe in a little bit. Awesome. But getting back to what Brother Rick had to say, this is all heartwarming, but I really don't care about how the Iranian people feel. I want America fixed. I pay 50% in taxes. My kids can't go to public schools without being indoctrinated. True. Our taxes are being used to fund Somali fraud. Again, true. Pam Bondi, boobs on a bull. I can go on and on. Fix the U.S. first. I agree that we have to fix the U.S. first, brother, but we have to be able to walk and chew bubble gum at the same time. And just like what happened in Austin with that suicide club shooter who shot up all those people in Austin. And some people will say, oh, I'm a neocon, I'm a rhino, and all that. That's all rubbish. Anybody who knows me knows that's not true. But when you have a country that has been fomenting hate for almost half a century, 47 years, death to America, they have their kids chant it at an early age. We try to say the Pledge of Allegiance, they say death to America. There's a difference there. You decide which one's worse. If you're a blue-haired, nose-ring hippie with gauged-out ears, you might want death to America. Just saying. A lot of those people in Minneapolis sure did. They think it's okay to run around in furry suits and thongs and play a harmonica. I will find that clip again. People are asking for the harmonica clip. I know what you're talking about. But we have to do both, Brother Rick. And I am not making excuses for Pam Bondi anymore. And I guess I should repent now because I did say give Pam time. I did say give Cash time when it came to everything that's going on. And we gave them time. And up to this point, it just appears to be a whole smoke and mirrors campaign. Knowing damn well that if this was anybody in this listening audience who had 1/1000th of what they have on all of those other high-ranking politicians and world leaders, you would be on CBS News, you would be paraded around the mainstream media, you would be in court, and you would be spending the rest of your life in jail for exploiting a minor. But you can't but because they are the rich and powerful. And don't tell me what's going on in England with the prince being arrested and all that. That's not the US justice system. That's the English taking care of their own problem. Like I said earlier, the happiest people in the world right now are Bill and Hillary Clinton because they've got sidetracked. Getting back to what Brother Rick said, we only have 2% of the Epstein files and not one person arrested or even looking hard under a rock. So many things need to be fixed, but all we can do is go to war because why? Brother, that's a fair question. We have a election coming up in a week and a half, a primary election. Do we have good candidates ready to go? Are you happy? I'm not even worried about US Senate or Congress candidates, but did we do a good job locally? And I have to look at myself in the mirror again with this because I feel like with everything that I did, I could have done more to try to find new candidates, to try to reach out to communities that normally don't necessarily get reached out to by conservatives. Could I have done more? And if I could have done more, what could I have actually done? That might be another topic for a TTP Tuesday. I don't know. I'm looking forward to that. Anytime I get the military language and acronyms in there, it gets me excited. But getting back to you, Brother Rick, we have to do both. And I don't want to spend all this money. I mean, we need to audit the Federal Reserve. Congress needs to pass the SAVE Act. Pam Bondi needs to do something besides get all dolled up and going on Fox News for a friendly interview, wearing her crucifix around her neck, sending really important and threatening letters. Now, to be fair, and I haven't seen this reported anywhere. I just read this on a tweet, so this is all speculation. But apparently, there have been 39 people arrested in Minneapolis for storming the church. So we know that if there's something that they're really excited about, they can move on it quickly. But when it's the meat, when it's the milk, easy to drink, easy to do, it's easy. But when you got to go after the hard stuff, oh, they don't want to do that. Just out of curiosity, do we know Attorney General like that maybe? Do we maybe know an Attorney General who doesn't want to go after the hard stuff, but will take the victory laps on things like opiates and child trafficking when it's somebody that she's not even leading the task force? I'm just asking the question, people. Don't get all excited. You are listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We will be right back. Right.
Keep it tuned here to 103.9 WYAB.
Have you been injured through no fault of your own? Do you know your rights? Don Evans does. Do you really believe that the insurance company would disclose all information to you? Don Evans will make sure that you are fully informed. It costs nothing to discuss your case. From car wrecks to malpractice, Don Evans will make you and your family whole again. Don Evans won't ever charge unless he collects for you. Call Don for a free, no-obligation consultation at 601-969-2006.
Huddle up, wing lovers, and double your count for less on Wing Tuesdays at Buffalo Wild Wings. When you buy one order of traditional wings, get one for 50% off. No time to dine? Order for delivery and wing it up with a crew at home. Or pick up takeout when you're on the go. Limit one per order, not valid with any other offers. Additional terms and conditions apply. Huddle up for Wing Tuesday at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Looking to make technology work for your business instead of the other way around? Visit brentech.ms today. From reliable network infrastructure and wireless internet to cloud or on-premise backups, Brentech has solutions that keep your business connected, secure, and running smoothly. Don't let tech headaches slow you down. Discover how Brentech can simplify and elevate your business at brentech.ms. That's brentech.ms. Brentech, technology made easy.
Got electrical problems? Marty Cowden and Cowden Electric are here for you. Cowden Electric is your trusted electrician, serving the Jackson area for 3 decades. Electrical repair, service, and home rewiring are just the start of what Cowden Electric can do. Cowden Electric also installs generators to keep your power going when everyone else's lights are out. Plus, LED lighting, remodels, new construction, no job is too small. Visit CowdenElectric.com today to see all that they do. Cowden Electric, powering your home and business.
We would like to invite you to visit our retirement community, which is not only beautiful, but affordable as well. I'm Rhonda Brown, director at the Waterford on Highland Colony in Ridgeland. Our enhanced dining services include 3 delicious daily meals served in our beautiful open dining room. In addition, we're pet friendly and we're so excited about our brand new dog park. Call us at the Waterford on Highland Colony in Ridgeland, 601-856-6131.
For over 15 years, A1 Gear and Auto has been your hometown specialist for your auto repair and maintenance needs. From brake repair to placement to radiators, engines, starters, alternators, heat, and AC water pumps, and more, A1 will get your vehicle back up and running and on the road and in a timely manner. A1 is one of the only shops in the metro that specializes in rear differentials, rear ends, and rings and pinions. Call today to set up an appointment, or if you got questions at 601-939-1060. A1 Gear and Auto, your hometown vehicle specialist.
Ladies, tired of running on empty, sleepless nights, mood swings, stubborn weight, skin that has lost its glow? It is not just getting older. It is your body begging for help. Hey, y'all, I'm Morgan at Women's Wellness in Mississippi. At Women's Wellness in Mississippi, we bring it all together. Hormone therapy, medical weight loss, and the latest, greatest aesthetic treatments like facials, lasers, Botox, and so much more. This is where wellness and beauty meet so that you can feel amazing inside and out. At Women's Wellness in Mississippi, the best version of you is waiting right around the corner.
If you're a parent or grandparent, you should know that even though Mississippi is ranked as the unhealthiest state in the country, we have the highest vaccination rate for our children and grandchildren. Many of us blindly trust the medical establishment, and now it's time to question vaccine safety. Mississippi Parents for Vaccine Rights is a grassroots organization working to educate the public and lawmakers about this important topic. Be informed. Go to mpvr.org. Like us on Facebook to stay up to date on the latest information. That's Mississippi Parents for Vaccine Rights, mpvr.org.
Yeah, you are tuned into the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We did talk about the strikes in Iran, what the president did, what Israel did. We worked together on that. I didn't even really get a chance to talk about all the beeps and squeaks that I wanted to talk about. Not that I actually give away any classified information, but there's a lot of really interesting military coordination that I didn't even get to talk about, but we'll talk about it in the next hour. But as I was sitting here thinking about this past hour, I was sitting there thinking, how much was I positive and how much was I negative? You know, and am I falling prey to the rage bait? Are you falling prey to the rage bait? I think about the books that I'm reading right now that are non-spiritual, just fun reading. I think about the things that I'm doing, whether that be things that I do for fun in the free time. And by the way, farming is fun. I don't get to do it nearly as much as I want to, but I'll tell you what, being out there with our sheep and with our dogs, I mean, touching grass, there is truly something to be said about that compared to touching your iPhone. And are we rapidly becoming a society that is getting away from touching grass and being more digital? Are we trying to join the AI simulation, or is the AI simulation trying to join us? I'll tell you what, using an AI agent to do some of my political research that I do, it is freaky scary. You're talking 2 and 3 weeks worth of research, looking through stuff, trying to find that needle in the haystack, putting it into Grok or a different AI agent, and coming back with results within 2 minutes that, um, can truly make or break an election. How are we embracing that technology? I mean, y no lawyer wants to hear this, but getting wills and basic legal documents now, you thought that those websites back in the day for your own will and stuff, now you can just type it in and whoop, pops it all up. You can be even make sure that you puts in all the specific language for the state that you're in, and it's breathtaking how quick it is. Then meanwhile, you go to your trusted attorney, there's something to be said for that, and I think that's the big thing. What do you trust? What do you trust the federal government to protect you, or do you trust yourself? Is there a mix of it? I just think that there's so much to be thankful for, to be joyful for, including the Arsenal having 3 home grounds. You know, every soccer team, every sports team has their own ground, but Arsenal actually has 3. We've got the Emirates Stadium, we got Stamford Bridge, and we've got Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We're undefeated in them all. We got 3 home grounds. It kinda shows you where I'm kind of focused on with my own struggling ability to focus on God. Sometimes I focus on the fleshy stuff too, but that's all right. I'll get better. You are listening to the Andrew Gosser Show right here on 103.9. We're going to take our top of the hour break. We will be right back.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Steve Kaith, and the Pentagon says its mission in Iran is to eliminate the threat of ballistic missiles, destroy the country's navy, and ensure no nukes. President Trump just moments ago.
This was our last best chance to strike what we're doing right now and eliminate the intolerable threats posed by this sick and sinister regime.
There have been 4 American fatalities in the 3-day military action. The president took note of that. CBS's Ellie Watson at the Pentagon.
The 3 that were killed and then a 4th who later succumbed to his injuries and died were injured severely when a projectile targeted a tactical operations center. We've reported that that's in Kuwait. That happened in Kuwait. General Dan Kane says they expect to take additional losses. Kane also outlined that the buildup has been happening for about 30 days in the lead up to Friday and said additional forces are expected to come in today and in the coming days.
The U.S. says it lost 3 jets to friendly fire, but those on board ejected safely. Tehran has carried out counterattacks. It sent oil prices higher. CBS's Kelly O'Grady.
It's not just about the Strait of Hormuz. We are also seeing infrastructure being targeted overnight in Saudi Arabia. So this is a large-scale thing. And if you think about what happened, in a worst-case scenario, we could see oil spike above $100 a barrel. I don't want a long-scale operation.
Iran has hit targets in Israel as part of its response to the U.S. attacks. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
I want to say special thanks to our great friend and a great leader of the world, Donald Trump, for joining us in this crucial effort to save the world.
Well, some may be reluctant, but it seems America's overseas allies are getting on board with the war in Iran.
I'm Vicki Barker in London, where Prime Minister Keir Starmer's image as something of a Trump whisperer has taken a battering. President Trump has told Britain's Daily Telegraph he was very disappointed with Starmer's initial refusal to let Washington use UK-run military bases in its war against Iran. Starmer has since relented, at least partially, allowing the U.S. access for defensive missions only.
Here at home, CBS's Jim Crisula has more on tributes being paid today to the late Jesse Jackson.
I am somebody. It was a message civil rights activist and two-time presidential candidate Jesse Jackson delivered for decades. His body now lies in state at the South Carolina State Capitol in Columbia. The native son died at the age of 84 nearly 2 weeks ago from a rare neurological disorder.
The Dow is down 70 points. This is CBS News.
What is going on?
What's going on here? How is this possible? Great storytelling starts here.
Oh, come on. Why?
It's time for 60.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-507-9701. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-507-9701. That's 800-507-9701. Tax Relief Advocates, real solutions for real.
Local news and weather brought to you by Mississippi Energy Services. We're your fast, affordable, and friendly generator service company. msenergy.us. msenergy.us.
A rare kind of homicide in Mississippi. Sunny this afternoon with a high at 80. Tonight, the low is 57, and it's partly cloudy. Tuesday, another sunny day with a high at 80. Weather continues dry for most of the week until Friday with a 50-50 shot at showers and storms. And that dry weather has caused some problems in Rankin County. Because of the wildfires that have been happening in and around the county, the Mississippi Department of Environmental Quality is advising you to stay indoors as much as possible there because of the air quality going down. An air quality alert is in effect, and that could affect people with breathing problems like asthma. You've got news on 103.9 WYAB. I'm Chris Davis. When Rebecca Leanne Lyons was discovered in a car Friday morning on Highway 397 in Winston County, she was taken immediately to Winston Medical Center where she was pronounced dead. The sheriff there says he believes the Neshoba County woman was beaten to death. They do have someone in custody on an unrelated charge, and that name has not been made public. If you've been waiting to see when you can get an appointment scheduled again at one of UMMC's clinics, that could happen this week. The clinics are scheduled to be reopened today. They've been closed since a cyber attack took down the hospital's systems, email and phone systems, and crippled computers on the 19th. No arrests have been announced yet by the feds or any of the investigating agencies. You might have guessed this would be a possibility because it's been talked about for a few years. But a piece of legislation has been proposed to allow a black bear hunt in Mississippi. If it were to happen, the experts say it would be tightly controlled, but that it would help to keep the growing bear population healthy. More news in 1 hour on 103.9 WYAB. I'm Chris Davis.
The views and opinions expressed in this program are the
Fire them up. You are tuned into the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. Gotta get rid of that. I'm getting better every day. And we are streaming on Rumble. And we are streaming on X. And we are streaming on YouTube. And we are streaming at the mothership that is WYAB.com. So if you can't pick up a 50,000 watt blowtorch, that is the WYAB signal on 103.9, well, go ahead and like the stream, pick up one of our streams. We'd appreciate that. Share, like, subscribe, do all the things. Follow me on X. I'd appreciate that at Andrew Gosser, AndrewGasser. It's a slog. It's a grind to get recognized in the algorithm. I know it takes a lot of time, but yep, that's what we're doing. Look, if you've got an opinion on what's happening in Iran, if you're for it, if you're against it, I'd love to hear from you. 601-879-0002. Text line is open, 601-879-5060. And that texter who called in and then sent me that number, it is just a gold company. I don't know how they got your number or whatever, but there's no nefariousness to it. You just got someone got your data, man. Got to be careful with that. Look, whether or not they get your data or not, the mission at the Andrew Gosser Show never changes. We are here to equip the saints. Who are the saints? Y'all are the saints. I planted it, Apollos watered it, but it's God that gave the increase. Jameson always said he gave the biblical worldview. I try to do that. Do I do it as good as Jameson? Probably not, but we're going to give it the good old college apostle try. Yep. And in this first segment, I wanted to talk about the primary because I haven't really talked about the candidates or anything like that. I have to be very careful with mentioning certain candidates and things like that. But here we go. For U.S. Senate, Cindy Hyde-Smith, she is the incumbent. And she is being challenged by Sarah Adlaka. I was corrected on her name, and I want to make sure I say it right, and I actually did. For the U.S. House of Representatives, and I know that there are people who listen to the show up in northern Mississippi, you've got Trent Kelly coming up for re-election. He is not being challenged by anybody in the Republican primary. Now, here's the big one, fam. District 2, Benny Thompson's district. He's got two challengers on the Democrat side, and I'm just being truthful with you. I know I have Democrats who listen. I'm not voting in the Democrat primary, so I haven't really paid attention to it. I did watch a couple commercials of some of his challengers. Definitely high-end production stuff. But on the Republican side, you've got Mr. Ron Eller running, and you have Mr. Kevin Wilson running. In the 3rd district, Michael Guest is running for re-election. He is unchallenged in the Republican primary. And in District 4, you've got Mike Easel running. He's running for re-election against Sawyer Walters. And I hope I said those names right. But the reason I bring this up is so many of us who are Republicans, we don't vote in the early elections. We just say better off red than dead, blue no matter who is on the other side. I mean, we all got our slogans and we follow what we follow. But how many of you have actually put any time into researching any of these national candidates, federal candidates, whether it be for the Senate or for Congress? I've done a lot of my due diligence, a lot of my research for my election. And I've been on here talking about how I was going to be an election judge on March 10th, which is a Tuesday. It's a full day. And I'm not going to be on the radio for that day. Well, in the last, couple weeks, UMMC's been hacked. And I was supposed to have a procedure last Friday. And obviously that's been canceled. And as such, I'm not going to be able now to be an election judge. Just it's not that I don't want to do it. My heart and soul is in it. My brain is in it. It's just my body can't take that long of a day sitting there like that. It's just where I'm at. So I wanted to spend this first precious segment of the second hour of the Andrew Gosser Show talking about the importance of election judges, specifically in Hinds County, but in other counties too. I'm going to seeing all my friends at Windell Baptist Church in Terry 2 Precinct where I vote. They all know me. I get to meet so many of them. They know I'm active in the party, and we do stuff together. Everybody recognizes. I have neighbors who swing by the farm and say, "Andy, what do you think about this guy? What do you think about this guy? How come you don't have any signs in front of your house right now?" Sometimes I actually get calls and texts saying, "Andy, who are you gonna vote for?" And I put it in there. I never put anything in a text that I'm not afraid to have someone who I'm talking about read it to my face and say, "Why did you say this?" Maybe that's a little bit of the biblical side coming out. But if we do not, especially in Hinds County, if we do not find enough people to run the election, then it falls back to going out to find some people who will work the polls for money instead of working for a party. Now, this isn't to say that people don't get repaid for their time. I think it's like $225 for the day. But it's a day. It starts at about 5:30 in the morning. You set up the polls. You do all the things that you need to do to get the polls up and running. You run the zero tapes. You are actually the one who's going to validate for your polling place that there were no ballots in the machine when you opened it up in the morning. You're signing a piece of paper saying that. You're running the election throughout the day, making sure that no shady things happen. You're working with poll watchers who are making sure that you don't do anything silly. And you get to meet a lot of your friends and neighbors. And if you are working in a polling location that isn't your home polling place, well, then you're getting to meet some people who might agree with you in other places too. It's not like you sit there and talk about who's great and who's not, but you get to meet people and you get to see people and you get to have that human interaction, not just necessarily getting a screen call on your phone and sitting there saying, "Oh, look at this." It might actually set you up to go ahead and become more involved, whether it be in Hinds County, Rankin County, Madison County. Madison County needs more people inside their party. Oh, and speaking of which, it's First Wednesday. Do you know what First Wednesday means, everybody? Grip and Grin at Mama Hamill's in Madison. I haven't been to Grip and Grin since I've been on the air. I won't be going this month either. I took that trip to Illinois and just can't afford to bust out of here early. People mentioning that they're actually being election judges in places much more north of the normal radio signal area, which means that we're having a positive impact here. But I just want to implore everybody who's thinking about whether or not it's important to have election judges in Hinds County, it is. And as someone who's been part of the party, who's tried to grow the list, sometimes I'm successful, sometimes I'm not. It's one of those things where we truly do need you, and the party does need you. And it's a sacrifice. It could potentially be taking a day off of work. It could potentially meaning a day away from the grandkids or a day where you have to find childcare. It's a sacrifice. But that's what our representative republic is. It's a sacrifice. It's not just all rainbows, unicorns, and pixie dust, glitter. And our representative republic is no different than a job or the work that you do, the farm. You get what you put into it. And luckily for this audience, we got a lot of people who have ideas and suggestions on how to make things better, but they actually put in the work too. They're just not whiners and complainers. I promise you that. I promise you that. So I guess my plea for this first segment of the 11 o'clock hour is there's a final election judge training tomorrow, and I think they'll probably do one more. But if anybody wants to work the Terry 2 precinct, Windell Baptist on March 10th, I sure would appreciate it because I'm just not going to be able to do it. And I wanted to give time and energy into that. And again, I'm not supporting any candidate on this segment or anything like that. It's almost like a public service announcement, almost like a techniques, tactics, and procedures TTP Tuesday. That will be one to become an election judge. And if you've never worked a poll before, you should do it at least once in your life. It's a challenge, but it gives you a greater appreciation for the representative republic that our founding fathers have given us. And it just seems like in this society where everything is going quicker and quicker, we're getting sidetracked with more and more things faster and faster. We find more reasons not to do certain things. And look, I understand people have jobs and businesses and they just can't get the time off. They'd love to do it. And I respect that and get that. And I am in no way, shape, matter, form, nature, or relationship trying to shame anybody into that. But if you do have the ability to go do that, I think it would be worth worth your while. I think you would have a new sense of appreciation for what the party does, especially here in Mississippi. I've worked in different party structures in different states, whether that be elected precinct committeeman or something else. And we have unique challenges here in Mississippi, especially in Hinds County. And we just need the team effort. And all of us have been on, well, many of us who have played sports have been on teams where the coach gives the instructions and we're not necessarily happy with everything, but we go out and we make it happen anyway. We go do the work. And, and we end up winning the game. Sometimes we take and follow the instructions to our best of ability, even though we didn't agree with it. And we didn't win the game. Sometimes it's a draw. I would argue that with elections, it's much more consequential than a sporting event. But that's all I got. If you want to be election judge in Hinds County, you've got to live in Hinds County. If you want to be election judge in Rankin County, you got to live in Rankin County. If you want to be a election judge in Madison County, well, the rules don't apply to you because apparently things go sideways in Madison County. But I digress. You are listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We will be right back. Yeah, you are tuned back into the Andrew Gosser Show on 1039 WYAB. Phone number, if you want to call, the phone line should be open. Had to reset the router. 601-879-0002. Text line is open. 601-879-5060. Some of y'all are kind of worried about becoming black pilled. I hear you. It's a struggle. It's a struggle. But I'm telling you, you've got to go and you've got to touch grass. You got to find your faith. You've got to reprioritize what's important in life. And it's tough because there are so many things to get you distracted from the things that are really important in life. Faith, family, friends, kids. We can get distracted with all sorts of earthly, fleshy things. And I'm not saying that I'm perfect. I'm not. But I am going to try to focus on the things that are good in life. And, for me, that's spending time with the sweet bee. People have been commenting on picture of our new dog, Eli, grandson of the great Isaiah. Rip, brother Isaiah. But Eli is definitely got some characteristics of his granddad, but he is his own man. And he is actively guarding a pasture with no animals in it other than a rooster. Lorenzo, look out, man, because I think he's going to be all right with the chickens, but you never know, Lorenzo. Yes, we name our rooster. So, we don't name animals on our farm, especially like chickens and sheep. But every once in a while, a rooster will get out of the area, and we free range it. But he just walks all over the place. Lorenzo is just his own man, and he keeps the farm grounded. He lets everybody know when something's going on, along with about the 25 free ranging guinea fowl that we have. CNN came out with a new top choices for 2028 Democrat presidential nominees. And it's looking pretty dire for the Dems right now. Now, everything can change in a day and in a moment. But leading the pack is Gavin Newsom, 19%. I know many Republican strategists that say, yes, please, let's do that. I'm not so sure. In 18% is former Vice President Kamala Harris. A lot of Republicans say they want her to run again. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure if there aren't some people out there who are anybody but Trump and find her more palatable than Gavin Newsom. I don't know how. At 13%, Pete Buttigieg. He is sitting there at 13%. Former transportation secretary under the Biden administration. He was the one who let the train wreck in Palestine, Ohio, go amok and just let the chemicals burn out and just wasted that area. They're still feeling the effects from that. Fish dying in the water, just an environmental mess. And you're saying that you want him to be your presidential nominee? That could be one. And then rounding it all out is America's Congresswoman. You know her. You love her. You would love to see her president. AOC. That right now, who is challenging Vice President J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio. I know that there are other Republicans who are eyeing it up, but let's be serious. That's a 2-horse race, in my opinion. I'd honestly like to see a Vance Rubio ticket. I think that would have a good, long-lasting succession plan. That's not to say that things can't change, and things do change. But we are in a much better place. But that's if we can even get to 2028. Because we have the midterms coming up. And, things are not so certain. people are really concerned about the redistricting things that are going to happen, and the state is just going to the state of Mississippi, not so much, but all these other states, especially like Connecticut, New England, California, Virginia, they're just going to become more polarized. And every time I sit back and think about, well, what's causing this? And you look at the different social media groups and collectives, what's bringing people together, right? What brought people together in the 50s and the 60s, the 60s and the 70s, the 70s and the 80s? Just our culture is changing. We don't have the same respect for certain things anymore. Some things we have more respect for now. I don't necessarily see this as a Democrat or Republican thing. It's more of a culture thing. But the Democrats appear to be in a complete disarray. The 2026 midterms, well, Andy, why are they so close? Well, it's because the trending history of our republic. The party who owns the presidency almost always loses seats in the House. And when we don't have things passed like the SAFE Act, not the SAFE Act, the SAVE with the V Act, it turns off some of the people who are more black-pilled. You know, and we have to figure out how to get them engaged, and we have time to do that. I mean, the election, I think, is November 3rd this year. Hope to be an election judge then. But we have all this time to try to course correct, but I'm telling you what, there are some places out there saying that the Republicans might not only lose the House, but they could lose the Senate. Now, I think a little bit of that is outlandish, but then I think about it, and I also thought 2020 was outlandish when we all went to bed saying Trump had this massive lead, and then the data dump came, and we were all pacified, and we didn't say, "Nope, this is screwed up." I still think Vice President Mike Pence was compromised somehow. I still think that with all the confusion and distraction, we ended up getting rope-a-doped. But think about that, even with all that confusion and distraction in 2020, it's like 1/8 of what we have now. I mean, you've got so many major stories that are breaking all the time. And there's good things that are happening too. I've got this story that I wanted to get to. Valor Atomics, you've heard me talk about them. They actually had an open house in Utah and invited legislators. I wonder how many Mississippi legislators would be interested in going to see that. They're gonna have this thing clicked on, moving and grooving by July 4th. And in their opening remarks, they said the toughest thing was they had to blast the earth in Utah to get a level pad built. They said the toughest thing was getting the building built itself. It wasn't the nuclear reactor and getting it certified to run. What's that say about our government and our society when we've got scientists who are literally cracking the atom in a new way for good, not necessarily ripping a hole in the fabric of the earth, but they're having a hard time getting the building built. And to be fair, the governor of Utah came in and helped out, and just makes you wonder, why do we have to have some high-ranking political official come in to make things work easier? It is a problem, but I'm really excited about it. 25 megawatt reactor rolling around on a semi truck. This is the first one. They hope to build, I think, 2 next year, 4 the year after that, and then scale up from there. And here's the great thing about it. The guy who's leading the company, and this is real stuff. This isn't just like me, AI slop kind of stuff. The kid is 26 years old, I want to say. And this is what makes it even better. He's a high school dropout, and he owns arguably one of the fastest growing nuclear power companies in the world. Department of Defense is all on board with it. Department of Energy is all on board with it. He garners inspiration from Elon. NASA's involved on it because if this gets this to work, there's nothing that's saying that they can't put this on a rocket and you have 25 megawatt reactor rolling around in space. That's incredible. The amount of science we'd be able to get done, the amount of experiments that we'd be able to fly, the new habitats we could build in low Earth orbit and beyond. Solar power is awesome, and Elon's right. You know, at some point in the future, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 years in the future, we might be able to make something even bigger. But that solar power can only do so much right now. The atom's the way to go. So the Sweet Bee and I watched a whole thing on Valor Atomics and got a whole lot smarter. To be fair, in high school, I was kicked out of chemistry class and put into nucleonics, but that's a whole nother story. You are listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We will be right back. And we are back here at the Andrew Gosser Show. Last segment already. Time is just flying by, flying by. One of the highlights that just got sent to me is Hezbollah, funded by Iran, has a block of elected politicians in the Lebanon parliament. Who knew? Hey, here's one for you, Citizens Free Press, just because to show you I'm non-partisan and I call it on both sides. Israel has a block of elected politicians in the United States Congress and Senate. Who knew? Oh, wait, we all know. There's many layers to this onion, and when you're sitting there and you're just thinking that it's only your side that's pure and perfect, then you have a problem. This got sent to me, and I'm going to censor this, but I feel this is going to take me to where I need to go. So we're going to just suffer through this together, ladies and gentlemen. This is coming from Matthew H. The American dream is dead for people like me under the age of 45, but I'm supposed to cheer for the bombing of Iran because that's what Israel wants. While Trump works on his golden ballroom and tells you how amazing he is. Screw all of these tyrants. You're not getting my vote. Well, Matthew H., I definitely hear the anger and vehemence in your tweet there, and you've got a point. You know, the American dream is a lot harder to get under the age of 45. And there are certain things that were a lot easier for someone my age to get the American dream than your age. But there were also a lot more things that were tougher to do. You didn't have Amazon Prime. You didn't have X or Twitter. You didn't have your TikTok. You didn't have all of these technology luxuries that we're all finding out now are not really luxuries, but they're actually handicaps. And you're angry and you're ticked off. I would also throw this argument out there too to all my friends who are saying, why are we involved over there? It is because we're still trying to fight under the notion, and it does work if you do it, but if you don't, then it's going to fail. But you'd rather fight the war over there than over here. And when you have a regime enslaving women, raping women, mutilating women, it's not good. It's not right. And then they import that culture here, like they're doing with that guy who shot up that bar in Austin. You know, people still not talking about the Iranian T-shirt that he had on underneath his Property of Allah sweat hoodie. Still not talking about that. You see how evil it is? What made us change? And I feel bad for this dude. And then he talks about the golden ballroom. Ballroom is private money. And I'm okay with it. It's almost like we're supposed to only focus on and do one thing at a time. And I guess the only place that really gets me is Department of Justice, but we've talked about that long enough. Now, I'm going to switch topics here a little bit, but hopefully tie this all together. We all know America's in trouble. We know we're suffering. But why? Well, it just seems that our man over at the Magnolia Tribune, Frank Corder, I talk about him all the time. They have different sections at the Magnolia Tribune, and they don't pay me to say anything. They probably should. Local news outlet, but they've got a news section, a business section, a culture section, and an opinion section, and an issue section. And under the culture is faith. America's in trouble. And I just want to read a couple lines from this because I think this is what gives me the ability, not so much to be black-pilled, but to be more positive in life. My wife will tell you that I'm a Barnabas and an encourager, a motivator. I used to be a Jehu, just a warrior, blow it all up and let God sort it out. And then I became an encourager, but now I'm kind of like a Jeremiah. If you know, you know. America's in trouble because the church is in trouble, and it's true. We've allowed pastors to get away preaching stuff that should never be approached, and they've done a lot of horrible things. And the culture itself looks like the church has gotten away with it. We are more concerned with are concerned with appetite and comfort than we are in the truth. And that's the truth in America as well. People say, well, that's your truth. No, the truth is the truth. The truth is the sky is blue. The truth is America is more angry than it is right now. The truth is that we've got more access to more money and to more stuff, and yet we are so unhappy. Why? Why is it that there are so many women out there who just filling their lives with all sorts of stuff, and no matter what they fill their heart with, it still comes back empty? And when Frank Porter wrote this, I was just like, oh my goodness. The church in China and the church in Iran is under heavy persecution. And Americans want to pray for lifting persecution. But if you go talk to the Chinese or you go talk to the Iranians, they say, oh no, persecution and hardship and injustice are what keeps the doctrine pure and makes the gospel attractive. And Americans are stunned. I was stunned. Yet the vitality of the persecuted church poses a strong indictment of the comfortable Christianity familiar to so many of us, and may I add, Frank, in Mississippi. Look, we all know we Sunday routine, and that's what it is. It's a routine. Pastor Brian said this. Sunday's turned into a routine. Wake up, take care of the farm animals. That's always got to get done. You got to take care of your livestock. Take showers, get dressed, go to church, hear a sermon, go out for a meal, fellowship, go home, and call it good. If the NFL is on, you watch a football game. If your service is early enough. Some of you might go, but we've gotten so comfortable that we don't understand what it's like to struggle anymore. Doesn't that sound like our kids, like Generation Z? They don't know how to struggle. Their struggle in life is if they only have one bar on their cell phone. Meanwhile, some of us can remember mowing lawns and doing yard work just to get a couple extra bucks to go get some candy or a new fishing rod or go out and do something like that. Struggle is getting kids to soccer practice, when before it was just getting enough money to go play ball or have a field to go play organized ball on. We are completely out of touch and out of context with this. And this article by Frank Porter, I'm going to cut and paste this right now. I would never say something is mandatory reading, but this is mandatory reading because he puts it in a way that so many people are looking for. It's like people want to go out there and talk about real estate, but they don't feel they have enough qualifications to talk about real estate. People want to go out there and talk about certain subjects, but they don't feel qualified, so they don't do it. They just reap into their shell. And that's the personality that they have. Some of us are like, hey, you want me to go do this? Sign me up. Do you know how to do it? Nope, but I'll figure it out. That's always been me. The acronym Navy used to say, never again volunteer yourself. I did that one time, and I never did it again. And I found out that through struggle, I became stronger, that I became more inventive, creative. It made me the man I became. Did it say I got everything right? Nope. Are you getting everything right? Nope. But I'll tell you what, there are just some things out there that the older I get, the more I realize, how do I pass on these lessons learned to everybody? How do we make it? And this is a Gen X problem. We always wanted our kids to have it easier than us. That was like the biggest mistake ever. If I had to do over again, I'm not saying I'd be tougher on my kids, but I would definitely let them struggle a little more. I'd push academics a little more, mechanical engineering a little more. Mechanical engineering, yep. I would have made them play with train sets more, Legos more. I would have been more spiritual. It's always easier to find those things out in the beginning than in the end. And we're just at that point now in our country's history where we know something's wrong, right? We all know something's wrong, but no one wants to say what it is. Or if they do say it is, they make it immediately political. Brutal. It's brutal. You are listening to the Andrew Gosser Show. We've got one commercial break left. We're going to take it. When we get back, we'll, as Clay would like to say, we're going to land the plane. You are listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We will be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, please bow with me as I ask God's blessings upon this ceremony. Almighty God, your steady hand has guided this republic.
Thanks for everybody who's tuned in today. I appreciate it. every show can do with a little bit more cowbell, don't you think? I thought it was a great show today. It started off a little bit earlier. It's 3 hours of radio. Man, you did 3 hours of radio today. It didn't even feel like it was an hour and a half. It was great. Thank you to Clay Edwards for allowing me to be on the show today. Thank you to Clay for filling in again last week with Brother Sean. Always appreciate that. And then doing 2 hours here. Didn't nearly get into the military aspect of it like I thought we would, but the show flows how the show flows. And as long as it clicks together nicely, I'm not going to really be too upset with all of that. And then, talking about just our culture in general, in how we're doing certain things. We have to have this cultural fight. We have to have this cultural battle. And if we just somehow just let that all go, then surely our republic will descend into chaos, anarchy, despotism, socialism, communism. And some people think that's a great thing because they think that they're going to get something more than what they've already got, but it's just not the way it works. Appreciate all the texters who texted in today. Tried to get to a lot of them. Some of them I didn't get. Some of them are just so spicy, and I feel like they've got a good point, but I don't necessarily want to even give them credence by even censoring it on the air. Some of you have built up enough respect and rapport to where I can take a little bit of artistic liberty and just make it happen myself the way that I know needs to happen. Something that I wanted to talk about that I do not talk about nearly enough on the radio is sponsorship and sponsoring the Andrew Gosser Show. We're always looking for new sponsors. And if that is something that you want to do, you want to talk about an audience that's engaged, a group of people who are supporting the sponsors of the show, in the station, definitely would appreciate the opportunity to sit down with you and talk about that. Number you can reach me at is just text me at 601-879-5060, or you can give me an email at andrew@wyab.com. Would love to do that. Love to grow the show and build up more good businesses right here in Mississippi, because that's ultimately what this show is about: building, creating, encouraging. I don't want to just be one of these people who are hating on everybody all the time. Life is too short for that, It's simply just too short to sit there and be angry all the time. And unfortunately, how the system is designed and how it's working right now is that both sides are just battling it out, firing each other up, making each other angrier and angrier. But not me. I want to be the encourager. There are some of you out there who are thinking about starting a business. You need to. There are some of you out there thinking about running for office. We should talk about it. There's some of you out there who want to get married and start a family. You should definitely do that. Problem is that everybody will tell you 1,000 reasons why you can't do something, but be the one person who says, yes, you can. Risk is a kind of a frightening thing. Going ahead and putting your neck out on the line. And to be truthful, I know what it's like to have your head chopped off. Not fun, people, not fun. But that's how you learn. That's how you grow. And in a society where there's a pill for everything to make you feel better, there's a drug you can take that makes the anxiety go away. That's what stretches the soul. That's what stretches your body. Everybody wants to be the combat troop until it's time to go do combat troop stuff. Don't realize is that we stretch out our bodies so much to get to the point to where we can get there. Man, it's one of those things where we have to continue to stress and have ourselves go out there, put ourselves on the line, and make ourselves uncomfortable. Until next time, everybody, tomorrow, take care, be blessed. And again, if you want to be an election judge, just let me know. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.